you guys are just having a good day. If you're not, this may help you out. At least if not today, it'll help you out when you get in that point. So here's what I want to say. I've talked about your calling a little bit. I've talked about your purpose a little bit. I've talked about your calling. Did I just say that? I've talked about gratefulness and being grateful and hashtag just say so. I've talked about honoring people. I've talked about a lot of things. But the other day when I was talking about gratefulness, do you guys remember I talked about how there's levels to it? There's, you're at the kiddie table when you're thankful for the things in your life that you have been given that are given to you, whether you say it's a gift by God given to you, or you're blessed, or things are going well in your life, or you have refrigerators, you have showers, you have those things, and you're grateful. But that's just the kiddie table level. And then you have the banquet table where you're grateful even when your greatest enemies are staring against you. Your anxieties, your depression, your thorns in your life, that everyone has something they're frustrated with and they deal with, and there's this frustration there. And still being able to shift your focus on your drive, the thing that's the center of your life, the principle, the paradigm, like your focus lies ahead even when your enemies are sitting there dining with you at the banquet table. That's a sign of maturity when you start to grow up. And then there's a level beyond that where even when you're in the prison cell and you're chained up and you're handcuffed and everyone has conspired against you, you can still rejoice because through it all, it will only be a testimony. So I want to build upon that a little bit. I want to build upon that and give you guys a word of encouragement. So we're going to get into this, guys. So gratefulness. So where I was going to go with that is I want to encourage you right now with the fact that I feel like some of you guys, because I have been here, I recently came out of a season like this. I have some friends who are actually dealing with this right now, and I know some of you have messaged me that you are dealing with this right now. Which, by the way, guys, if you want to suggest topics for future VIP times, or you're dealing with something, if you just comment on a previous VIP time video on YouTube about the topic or what you want me to talk about, I will bring that up in VIP time. If you want to do it more privately, you can direct message me on Discord. Anywho, I want to encourage you guys, because you guys each have a purpose and a calling, and I mentioned that the other day in one of our latest VIP times, that each of you have a calling in life, a destiny, a vocation, a purpose, a destiny, whatever, a future, whatever you want to call it. You have what you were destined to do and what you were placed on this earth to do. Like, you have something and you know what it is. It's in your heart. It's in your mind. Like, what it is you're called to do. Some of us are still trying to discover it and unwrap pieces of what it actually is, because it's not made plain. It's not that easy to just know all of a sudden. Like, no one knows really, but you kind of uncover more of it as you go with life, and as you progress, you kind of discover more about what that is. And so what I want to say is, even though you've given up on your purpose, I mentioned this the other day, even though you might have given up on your purpose, or you quit, or you postponed it, or you're pursuing something else now because you just don't think it's going to work, I want to let you guys know, do not talk yourself out of it, because every one of us, I am so guilty at this, and everyone is guilty at this, but I am the worst. I talk myself out of everything. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. I'm called to do this. I know I want to do this. It took me years upon years to actually start building towards what I know I want to do, even though I knew it from a young age. I had these plans and these ideas and these dreams, but that's never going to work for me. How am I going to afford that? How am I going to fund that? How am I going to make a living doing that? How am I going to be able to even make time for that? How are my friends going to like me for it? How are people going to respect me for it? How can I make a difference in a video game community with life overflow mastery? How can I teach real life, real talk principles to a community of gamers who half of which don't even care about that, and all they want to do is troll? I talk myself out of everything, man. Everything. I guarantee you right now, had I not talked myself out of this, this stream would be way more ahead of where it is now. But I'm not going to look back in hindsight and say I'm not grateful for not doing it yet, and now I started now, because I'm grateful for where I am now. I can't look back at it in regret, because that's pointless. It's never going to do anything. So, what I want to say is I know some of you guys are frustrated. I know some of you guys are talking yourself out of it, but I want to challenge you to just talk yourself into it. Whatever your calling is, even if your parents do not like it, even if your friends do not suggest it, even when your mentors think you're stupid, even when your school teachers are like, that's never going to work, even when people look at you and just, you don't understand why they don't get it, do not talk yourself out of it. Talk yourself into it. Feed yourself what you know you need. Feed yourself into your calling. Feed yourself where you want to go, and do not let frustration blindfold your destiny. Do not let it happen. It's worthless, man. Do not let frustration, because there is a hidden cost of a high calling. We all like change until change happens, because when change happens, it brings pain, and you need pain to produce growth through endurance, and endurance produces character. When you go to the gym, how do you get bigger muscles? You have to strain your muscles until they hurt. You have to push past resistance in order for growth to happen. It's the same thing in life. What up, Hyper Player? What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. We're doing VIP time right this minute. You have to push for growth. It's painful. It is. It's absolutely painful. It's painful. So, there's a hidden cost of a high calling. Every one of us has different callings in this chat right now. Some of you guys are called to do huge, great things and lead millions of people. Some of you may be into that. Some of you guys may be called to do something that's behind the curtains that's going to lead the person that's going to lead a million people. Some of you guys may be called to be a business person or a lawyer or a musician that makes an impact. You may be called to do something. Some of you guys may even be called and have this dream and this purpose of being something that people would look at and see like that's a small position, but you know you have a dream, you want to be there. We all have different callings. Some of us have big public callings. Some of us have more private callings. Like we all have different things we're called to do and different destinies, and it's all related to your personality and who you really are and what you know inside is where you're supposed to go. You've wanted to be a baseball player, but everyone says you're too weak and not right for it. If that is what you want to do, it just takes hard work and commitment. Because, guys, you remember at one point I said motivation and inspiration is useless, and strong habits, commitment, and hard work get things done. It's not that motivation is entirely useless because it gets the ball rolling. It fuels the flame, but you have to commit yourself day by day. If you want to be a baseball player for your career, you have to be that guy who's out there when all the other kids are playing games, sitting at their homes, not doing anything. You have to be at the gym running wind sprints. Day by day by day, you have to give up time on your weekends. Like, you know what it is, and you have to commit yourself to doing it, even when it doesn't seem like you can see it yet. There is a cost of a high calling. And those of you, you know that you're frustrated. You know that it seems like nothing's working. You have this dream, but nothing's working for it right now. You seem like you're just taking 10 steps back. You seem like everything's crashing around against you. You seem like there's always someone out to get you right now. Well, guess what? The more resistance, the greater the resistance means the greater the calling. Let me challenge you on that. If everything's going good in your life right now, you're not growing. If everything in your life is just like prosperous and it's this Instagram life, which by the way, social media a lot of times is just people's highlight reel. So don't look at people's highlight reel and compare that to your behind the scenes. If everything in your life is working out for you right now, 100%, you're not growing anywhere. Let me challenge you with that. Hello. Because the more you struggle, the more you fight, the more pain you're having, the more it seems like everything just is overwhelming and you're drowning in it and it's just you can't figure it out. Guess what? That just means you have such potential that's on a whole nother level. If you have to deal with all that to get there, if you have to struggle through that to get there, you have a huge calling ahead of you. Let me encourage you with that. You have such an incredible calling if it seems like nothing's working. it takes resistance. The greater the resistance, the greater the calling, guys. The heavier amount of weight you lift, the stronger your muscles are going to get. I mean, it's just literally a principle. There's nothing else to it. Change equals pain, but pain will give you endurance, and endurance produces character. Like you need pain in your life to get where you're going. Do not get comfortable. Do not get so comfortable where you keep forgetting about where you want to go and you've given up on it because it's too hard and it seems like it's not going anywhere because everything's crashing against you. Don't give up, because that means you are going somewhere if it's not working yet. That you have to get past that level. You have to get past that level. If just because I'm seeing that we only have 10 to 20 viewers on a daily basis on this stream right now, if I had seen like, oh, that's not enough for me, and I have this level of expectation and it's not exceeding my expectations, and I keep looking at that, we would have no growth. This is a stepping stone. This is supposed to be a footstool for me to get where we are going. Eventually we will have 100 people. Next we will have 1,000 people. Next we will have impacted 1 million lives. Next we will go even further than that. We will not stop. But it requires resistance. It's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. You have a great calling inside. And the greater the frustration, the greater your calling. So be encouraged in that. Be hopeful in that. And rejoice when pain comes, because that means it's time to grow. Put that in the chat for me, guys. Hashtag, it's time to grow. Hashtag, it's time to grow. So be hopeful when things come against you, because that means it's growing time. Be excited when you know things are about to get rough, because that means it's time to grow. Look forward to the moments when things work against you, because that means it's time to grow, and that is counterculture right there. No one tells you to do that. People say when things start coming against you, when it gets hard, like it's going to put you down, you can't be happy, you can't be joyful, you can't pursue things, you can't do this because it's all so painful and it hurts, and you have to have hurtful times, you have to have stress in your life. Well, guess what? When that stress comes, just know, have hope, because it's time to grow. You're going to have to get hit by some Goombas and some Koopas to get the flagpole at the end of the level. Vinster Gaming 2016. You're going to have to get hit by that blue shell once or twice, if you know what I'm saying. You know you're in that first place. You've been getting mushrooms after mushrooms, and you're just boosting up. You got the banana held behind you so people's red shells won't hit you. Next thing you know, here comes that blue shell. Comes that blue shell. You can't stay in first all the time. You can't stay in first all the time. You got to grow. You got to grow, boys. It's time to grow.